It all comes down to this. 20 rounds have passed and we're now here for the 21st and final round, the Brazilian Grand Prix at the Interlagos circuit. The 12th time we have been here at Interlagos for the Brazilian Grand Prix, the 10th of 10 tracks that's featured on the calendar every season. And of course this is the place where Will Neller could take his first and only OC title, and I would say he's got it in the bag, but who knows how it is going to go today. Previous winners here have included Jack Boyman, we have Roque, Junqueira, Sontag, James Willows, Florian Volker, Miklas Galway. We've had almost a new winner every season, so that is actually quite interesting, apart from Miklas Gal, who's won here twice, almost a new winner every year. But of course we're here at Interlagos, 71 laps, one of the shortest circuits on the calendar. Circuit length of 4.309 kilometers, 15 corners. The lap record set by Jack Boyman back in 2006, surprisingly enough, 111.0. But with the current gen of cars, we are going to see probably those lap records decimated. The tyres, of course, we'll be using will be the super soft tyres. And the driver today were 4 drivers actually: Amar Carr, Evan Byrne, Miklas Gal, and Franco Gamba. With a race rating of 7.5 out of 10. So here we go, the starting grid for the final round of the season. And it's Amar Carr on pole position with Jay McKenzie alongside him in second. A good start before we even get going for Jay McKenzie at this moment in time. Joseph Willis in third position with Miklas Gal in fourth. That is row 2 of the grid. On row 3 we have Franco Lopez and Will Neller. All Will Neller has to do is finish inside the top 10, and as long as Jay doesn't win, he has the title. Florian Volker in 7th position, Joel Hutter in 8th for Haas, another great qualifying by Joel Hutter. On the 5th row of the grid we have Julius Anderson for Williams and George Roque 10th for Haas. On row 6 of the grid we have Roland Moichin for Williams and Franco Gamba for Toro Rosso. Row 7 of the grid, 13th and 14th positions are Tiravi now Tiranen and Roberto Gamba for Renault and McLaren respectively. On the 8th row of the grid, 15th and 16th, is Michael Mocho for Toro Rosso and Rick Yan for Force India. Row 9 of the grid, 17th and 18th positions are Evan Byrne and Oliver Glazebrook for Renault and McLaren. Not the best qualifying for Byrne and not great either from Glazebrook. On row 10 we have Nicholas Zorbach for Manor and Felix Sontag for Sauber. And on the final row of the grid we have Etienne Jones for Manor and Paulino Tomaselli for Sauber. So that is the final grid of the season. Before we get to the race, here are all the team news. Franco Lopez leaving Force India to join Mercedes. Jay McKenzie will leave Mercedes to go to Renault in turn. Byrne will remain at Renault. Now Turner will leave Renault to join Force India. Lee Campana will drive for Williams, having been promoted from GP2. Rick Yan shockingly will retire. Joel Hutter will leave Haas, will join Red Bull in Rick Yan's place since he retired, with Nicholas Zorbach, Michael Mocho, Oliver Glazebrook and surprisingly Julius Anderson, who've all been left without a drive for 2018. And here is the championship criteria for Will Neller and McKenzie. So if McKenzie wins, he needs to finish 9th to win the title. If McKenzie finishes 2nd, he wins the title. McKenzie, he pretty much just has to hope that he wins, and Neller has some bad luck. That is the only way that he has a chance of winning the title today. And weather-wise, it will not be a wet race, it will be a dry race. Usually it's wet, dry, or it's wet it's been wet for many years here in Brazil. But anyway, I'm waffling on. We're now on the grid for the final race of the season. 20 races are passed. We're now here at the 21st. The cars are on the grid as we now have the 5 lights coming on for the final race of the season. It's a long hold and we're underway. And is Carr going to get the jump into the first corner? It looks like he's made a good start ahead of McKenzie, and he's going to lead into turns 1, 2 and 3, the centre S's. McKenzie being overtaken, it looks like, by one of the Ferraris, or is he? No, McKenzie holds it around the outside and will keep 2nd position, so that's exactly what he needs to do. But Carr leading McKenzie in 2nd as the cars head through the centre S's for the first time, now coming into turn 4. And Willows defending a little bit from the Red Bull behind is Volker on the inside. Nello, who's dropped down to 7th, so not a good start for him, but it doesn't matter at this moment in time. We're only 1 lap, he just needs to stay out of trouble, and so far everyone has kept themselves clean. But at the moment it's Carr, McKenzie, Willows, Gal, Lopez, top 5 at this moment in time. Volker, Neller, Hutter, Anderson and Roque completing the top 10 as they come through the middle section of this track, the tight twisty bit. Now as they come towards the end of the lap, heading towards the final corner, and McKenzie looks already to be under pressure from the Ferrari of Willows behind him. Of course, Willows, who is out of the title fight, having been knocked out or knocked off the circuit and wide by Volker, who went on to win in Abu Dhabi. But as we look at the battle for P4. Lopez seemingly close behind the Red Bull of Gal. I don't think he's quite close enough yet. Willer's not quite close up to the back of Mackenzie as they complete the first lap. Now Hutter is passing Will Neller for 7th position. Now Roke is on the inside of Anderson for 9th. 2 overtakes in the cycle. Both Haas drivers making a move. Hutter's through, and so is Roke. And Neller is now going to be under pressure from Roke if he's not careful. Neller is really struggling. Look at the amount of fuel he's got in his car. 40 laps. They're going for the one stop. They're really going for the safe option. As the Ferrari of Willis has just got past Mackenzie. Volker trying to get past Lopez. He fails. Roke now on the inside of Neller. He fails to make the move there. And oh my word. So Neller is going to really struggle on these tyres for 40 laps or so. But crucially, Willis has got past Jamie Mackenzie for 2nd position, so that doesn't matter at this moment in time as we look at Neller struggling to keep all these cars behind. And oh dear, of course, it wouldn't be the final round without without this happening. And here we're looking at Felix Sonntag running in 21st position, heading up towards turn 5. And he's behind the Manor of Jones, and he's gone a little bit wide there, and he made a mistake. But now here is Volker on the back of Lopez. This is the battle for 5th position. And Volker trying to get on the inside, just about on side by side with Lopez, and they are together heading towards turn 1. Volker's on the inside. There should be the move done for him, and the answer is yes, it is. He's through up into 5th position, and there's an overtake happening. And Roke has now got past Neller for 8th position, so Neller is really going to struggle in his first bit of the race, but he's going to have to. He doesn't have to worry because Mackenzie is not winning the title right now. Hutter all over the back of Lopez for 6th position. And it's going to be interesting. I mean, no one thought Joel Hutter would get the Red Bull seat and that Jan would retire. But as we look at Lopez, who's now, Gamba, who's on the back of Anderson, who's on the back of Neller in his battle for 9th position. At this moment in time, not looking good for Neller, but he's just going to have to grind it out as we're on lap 3 of this race. And so far, it's been kept relatively clean as Carr, who has the lead, but Willis is definitely gaining on him a little bit, I think, because Carr did have a big gap at the end of the 2nd lap. Willis is definitely closing on him. It's about 1 second. As they come onto the front straight down this kind of long left-hander, or the not so straight. Now it's not even so straight now because they have to turn left slightly, but as they come out onto the start-finish line, Amakar completes lap 3, and Amakar, wait, hold on, I think I just saw Amakar a problem there, and he does. Amakar has got an issue in the lead, and he's out. Amakar is out of this race. Oh no, and that's good news for Mackenzie. And well, technically good news for Neller as well, but for Amakar, he is out of the race. Absolutely gutting for him, and he's suffering a puncture on lap 4, and he is done from this race. Very unfortunate for him, and he looks set to be in with a chance of the win, but he's getting absolutely nothing now. And this was Julius Anderson, who's passing Will Neller for 9th position, heading towards turn 1. It's side by side between the two, and Anderson has got a 5-second penalty for overtaking Will Neller under waved yellow flags. You can see the yellow flag already out, and on the inside is Anderson, and unfortunately makes it under yellow flags. I think someone else tried to overtake under yellow flags, I'm not sure. And yet there was a salvo there. I think Sonntag has passed under yellow flags as well. And oh well, I don't know. Well, nothing. No one. It was Rick Jan that passed Roland Moitian under wave yellow, so he gets a penalty as well. It's the 2nd one, and now here is Volker on the inside of Gal for 3rd position. And Sonntag, as I said, receiving a 5-place group penalty as well. And Volker threw up into P3 past the Hungarian of Nicolas Gal. So there we are. As we look at Neller, 9th position, he's now under pressure from the Toro Rosso of Gamma behind him. Anderson trying to get past Hutter in the Haas. Roke in the Haas. As he comes through on the inside. Is he going to make it stick? I'm not sure. Neller defending from Franco Gamba behind him. Can't quite make it through. And as we look at the rest of the order, so far it's been kept relatively clean. No clashes, only one mechanical failure. Willer's now leading. He's got a 1.1 second gap to Mackenzie. Volker himself is 5.4 behind. Gal half a second behind. But Roke really all over the back of Lopez for 5th position. So far both Haas drivers going very well in this race. Although Roke is on lighter fuel, so it probably explains why he's so quick. But of course on this track, which is quite short, it can make all the difference. But Hutter had actually moved up into 7th, but of course he was defending from Anderson. As Roke is all over the back of Lopez coming on to the front straight, and he's in the slipstream, and he's just going to go alongside the pink Mercedes as he just squeezes along the inside Roke, and he's surely going to take P5 into the center S's. Side by side between the two, Roke on the inside, and he's going to make it stick. The answer is no, actually he's not, although Lopez has gone very deep, and Roke might go around the outside, and he does. Roke up into P5, a great move. and Anderson has got a great run off the corner. Lopez didn't get a good run, and now he could be overtaken by Julius Anderson. Could Lopez, and Anderson is on the inside, and he's going to make it through surely for 6th position, and yes he does. Franco Lopez losing out a lot there. Nella has got past Hutter as well actually, so he has gained 1 position out of all that, so he has actually overtaken someone. That was because well, Nella was still defending from Franco Gamma behind, and then Hutter had got a bad run, having been overtaken by Julius Anderson, and Nella moved to the inside and passed him in the Mercedes. You can see here in the slipstream, and just go to the inside. Hutter doesn't really put up too much of a defence, so at the moment for Nella it's all going, I say rosy, but it's he's doing what he can on that amount of fuel. But at the moment Willow's still well, Mackenzie I should say, as we're looking at Hutter try to get through past Will Nella. He tried to re-overtake him into the first corner. On the inside is Joel Hutter. Nella on the outside. Is he going to make it stick? The answer is oh, Nella goes very deep. And does he make it through? Nope. Hutter has to stay behind, but at the moment Will is still leading. Mackenzie in second. Volker still falling behind in third. Here's Mocho, who I think has got past Gamba. They're all over the back of Nella here. Nella could be overtaken once again by Joel Hutter into turn 4. The Toro Rossos are there as well. Nella just about holding on to the position. He's really desperately trying to keep the position from the cars behind him. He's got about 4 cars behind him. He's got the 2 Toro Rossos. He's got Hutter, the 2 Toro Rossos, and I think Rick Yan, who's coming up to this this battle of cars as well. And as we look at Hutter all over Willows, who's really struggling. But here's Franco Gamba, who had dropped behind Mocho, and I think did Franco Gamba pass Mocho? He might have done, as we're looking on board with Gamba, and you can see all the movement going on. And no, he doesn't actually overtake Gamba, just watching these guys battling in front of him, and somehow they kept it clean, fortunately. So I'm quite relieved, and Nella really must be absolutely bricking it at the moment. Willows extending his lead, it seems, over Mackenzie in second, although he does have a lot of fuel, as Glazebrook goes around the outside of Gamba, who has got a throttle problem. So Roberto Gamba, unless he gets to the pits, could be out of this race. He's getting overtaken left and right. The pits are just coming up after this next corner, so he could get to the pits, but it's a throttle issue, so will the throttle cut out before he gets to the pits is the big question. As he comes onto the front straight now, the pits are just coming up as he's being overtaken by the Renault, or is he, as he blocks Byrne there quite severely. And now finally Byrne does get past him, and now Jones actually could try and make a move on Byrne if he's not careful, but Roberto Gamba does make it into the pits. And so there we go. So we look at Sontag in 15th. Gamba is dropped actually behind Jan. Now Hutter trying once again to pass Will Nella into turn 4. Does he make it stick? And yes, he does fail once again. Now Michael Mocho is under pressure from Rick Jan behind him. But Nella he's on this heavy fuel load. He's really holding up these guys, if anything. As we're looking at Volker right now, running on his own in 3rd position, having passed Gal, not really gaining to Mackenzie in front of him. If anything, he's just kind of stagnating at this moment in time. As we look at Volker coming down towards the final corner. And here is there's Gamble we're looking at, who locks up a little bit, makes a little error coming through the corner there, but fortunately stays on track. But he loses ground to Jan in front of him, but of course, well, Nella is once again going to be caught by Joel Hutter, who will be in his slipstream onto the front straight, and Mocho's there as well. And Hutter, is he just about in the slipstream? I think he is. I'm not sure. I don't think he's quite close enough as they come onto the front straight as they head towards the Senna S's. No, he's not close enough, Hutter, so he's going to have to wait once again if he gets closer after Senna S's if he has a run. Now here's Julius Anderson on the back of Miklos Gal here, and he's going to try and overtake him for P5. And Anderson on the inside of the Red Bull. And he's going to go past him, is he? Yep, and he moves up into P5, and now he's got George Roke just in front of him, who's doing quite well actually on this low fuel. And at the moment Hutter's still failing to get past Will Nella at this moment in time, but now he's close enough, so surely he's going to make the move. He's on the inside, Hutter. Surely this must be it right here. He's got to get it done now. He's on the inside, and has he made it stick? Yes he has. And now Nella's got to be careful, because Mocho is going to be all over the back of him, and so will Rick Jan. So Nella's got to be very, very careful here. Now as you look at Jan, try to get past Mocho. Mocho try to get past Nella, and Jan's slipstreaming onto the back of Will Nella, but he's not going to make it stick. And now Mocho does move up the inside of Will Nella, and Nella now only got 1 point in 10th position. But as I said, at this moment in time, he's not going to win the title, Will Mackenzie. He's only running in second, and Willow's just ever so slightly extending the gap to about 3 seconds, and he's on his own really. He's got an 8-second gap to Volker behind. That's quite a lot actually. So Volker not having the same pace as Mackenzie has. So looking pretty good for Mackenzie and Willows at this moment in time. It looks to be a battle between those two for the win, it seems, although they're probably on different strategies. Willows possibly on the 3, Mackenzie more or less looking likely that he'll be on the 2. And as we look at Willows coming through turns 1, 2 and 3, heading towards turn 4, Decina de Largo. Now Jan all over the back of Nella. He's going to make the move as he's on the inside of Nella, and Nella's going to be out of the points. And it looks like if Jan can make the move into the first corner, and the answer is, has he made it stick? Yes, he has. So Nella now out of the points, but Mackenzie, as I said, is not going to win the title because he has to win. So at this moment in time, Nella would still be champion, but he's got to be careful, Nella, because he's just getting swamped on the strategy. He's going to get passed by the other Toro Rosso, Franco Gamba as well, and yes, he just goes past. Look at that. So Will Nella is really struggling, as we saw a pit call there, I think, for, that was George Roke in 4th position, who's coming into the pits. So it looks like he'll be doing the 3-stop as well. But at the moment in time, Will Nella just really struggling on these tyres, as Hutter's now under pressure from Mocho. But as we look at Willows heading towards the front straight, but of course George Roke is pitting. It looks like he's going to be on the 3-stop strategy, showing some very good pace. Roke up to P4. Might be getting a bit of a heart attack getting so high up in the order, but he's going to come into the pits anyway, and we'll see where he comes out. Both Hutters have been performing very well in this race. They've been in battles, they've done a lot of overtaking, although Hutter probably would have wished that he would have passed Nella a lot earlier than he did. Willows will be pitting next lap, so it looks like he'll be on the 3-stop as well. Roke comes in, he'll change his tyres, and the question is, will he come out in traffic? He most likely probably will, because the field is still pretty close, and we've still got 21 cars running. So into the pits comes Roke for his first stop, changing all 4 tyres, and 26, so yeah, I think probably still a 3-stopper, I would say. 5.9, that's a pretty quick stop, and he's going to come out, it looks like, in 16th position, possibly 17th, as he comes out of the pits. It's a long pit exit here in Brazil. Definitely quite a unique pit exit, that's for sure. He's going to come out, looks like, in 16th, just ahead of the Sauber there, and behind the Renault of Evan Byrne. And Roke does come out in 16th, just ahead of Tomaselli, so that's important for him, because otherwise he would have been stuck behind the Sauber. But now Joseph Willows is going to come in for his first stop of the race, and the question is, will he come out in any traffic or not? So into the pits he comes. He had a good gap to Mackenzie out front, but Mackenzie was actually not that far away from him. He was generally keeping up with him, despite the fact he had a much heavier fuel load than Willows did. So looks like Mackenzie has certainly got the pace in that car today, but Willows comes into the pits for his first stop. So he changes all 4 tyres, and he is going to be, he's on less fuel than what they put into Roke's car, so it's definitely the 3-stop for Willows, and well, for Willows and probably for Roke as well, but certainly for Willows it will be the 3-stopper. And so where the question is, where is Willows going to come out as Jan passes Hutter into the first corner, moving up into now what is going to be 8th position. And where is Willows coming out? Is he going to come out ahead of these guys battling, is the big question. And where is he? And yes, he will, as Franco Gamba trying to make a move on the inside of Hutter, and there's Willows just coming out ahead, which is very important. And Franco Gamba does make the move past Hutter for 9th position, so Willows crucially coming out ahead of that battle. Nella right now running on his own in 11th, which I think he likes right now, because he's got no cars trying to overtake him, and he can preserve his tyres for his long stint. But at the moment, Mackenzie got a comfortable lead. Volker on his own in 2nd position, so Mackenzie can really preserve his tyres, because Volker is not on the same wavelength as he is. As Jan coming around the hairpin, locks up a little bit, makes a little mistake, but he keeps the position. But he's managed to get ahead of Joel Hutter, so we'll see if Hutter is right behind him coming into the final corner. And the answer is no, it isn't, because it's Joseph Willows, of course, who has just pitted, who's going to go past him pretty quickly, as they're now onto the front straight. And I expect Willows to make the move pretty much right now, I'd say. And now Willows in the slipstream of the pink Mercedes. He's on the inside, and this is going to be an important move for Willows. As long as he makes it stick, he's on the inside, and the answer is yes, he does. He's up into 7th position, but now he's got Michael Mocho in front of him that he's got to overtake. Franco Gamba's coming to the pits this lap. Will Nella said running on his own in 11th, but he's got no cars around him, so nothing to worry him. As Roke passing Evan Byrne for 14th position, coming into the CRSs for the 15th time. Now Willows is already onto this battle between Franco Lopez and Michael Mocho for 5th position. And as we look at Willows, look at that, he's unfortunately caught them in the worst possible place in this part of the track, because you can't really overtake. You have to wait until the front straight to do it. And as Willows is all over the back of Mocho, and surely he is going to make the move onto the front straight, well, as long as Mocho doesn't try and make a move on Lopez, but we'll see. So at the moment, it's Mackenzie leading, Volker in second, Anderson in third. Imagine if we just finished the race there, then Mackenzie would be champion. But anyway, as we look at Nella, who really is struggling on those tyres at this moment in time. Frankie Gam, of course, coming to the pits now. Willow's all over the back of Mocho, who is all over the back of the pink Mercedes. Willow's trying to make the move there. It didn't work. Mocho on the inside of Lopez in towards the first corner. That could have been very deadly had Willow's really tried to go for it there. But Mocho passing the Mercedes of Lopez, and now Willow's is going to go around the outside, is he? Yep, and he passes Lopez as well. And now he's going to be under pressure, Lopez, from Rick Yan behind him as well. So unfortunately for Lopez, he's lost out a huge amount there. He could lose 3 positions in the space of 2 corners. And Jan's on the inside, he's going to make a stick. Yep, and Lopez really lost out terribly there. So he's down to 8th position from what was 5th. Now, Willows needs to get past Mocho, and then he needs to get past Gal, and then he's in a bit of clear air at last. Now, as I said, right now running on his own in 10th position, but crucially, Moichin's battling with Glazebrook behind, so he's got no one that is battling him, which is a relief, I suppose, in his respect. As we're looking at Mackenzie right now, the leader of this race, a very comfortable lead at this moment in time. Willow's all over the back of Mocho, and he'll guess him onto the front straight. And it looked like he looked to be going a little bit wide there, Willows, but anyway, he keeps it on the road, and he's right in the slipstream of Mocho. He's surely going to make the move on to the front straight. He's all over the back of him. Now coming on to the front straight, and Willow's just about squeezing alongside Mocho. This should be the move done and dusted pretty easy. Julius Anderson as you come into the pits for his first stop of the race. So Willows, if he gets past here, which he does not, or does he? He might do, because Mocho's gone wide, and yes, Willows will move up into P4. Yan might pass Mocho as well if he's not careful. All over the back of him is Rick Yan. Needs to get in the slipstream though if he wants to go a little bit quicker. Is he still going to dive on the inside? The answer is no, he doesn't. So he can't make the position stick there. But now Willows will go after Gal, and then after that he'll finally have some clear air in front of him, so he can really use those fresh tyres to good use. But at the moment, Volker just not on the same pace as Mackenzie, despite the fact he's actually, I'm pretty sure, got a little bit less fuel than he does. But Frankie Gamma's come out right behind the manor here of Nicholas Zorbach, who's now going to try and make a move on the inside into turn 4, as Roberta Gamba is trying to make a move as well, but Frankie Gamma does make it through, and Roberta Gamba doesn't, so Frankie Gamba gets away from his cousin there. But at the moment, Mackenzie just extending his lead ahead of Volker. It's 11.4 seconds. Gal is 23 seconds behind. It's all very tight and compact in the midfield at the moment. There's not much between them. But now Willow's all over the back of Miklos Gal, coming down the front straight, and now he's on the inside of the Hungarian driver. And surely he's going to get the move done here. Is he going to dive it late? The answer is, well, Gal's gone wide, so surely Willows is going to get around the outside. And yes, he does. He's now up into 3rd position, and Willows is in clear air. So now, not good news for Mackenzie and co, because now they're going to be under pressure. But Gal's really under pressure from both Mocho and Yan. Mocho trying to make it on the inside, but failing. Gal's going to keep the position. The answer is yes, goes a little bit wide, but does keep it. Now here is Roke on the inside, or attempting to go on the inside of Roland Moichin in the Williams. Is he going to dive it late? The answer is no, he's not. Moichin holds the position, so Roke staying in 11th position. But now this battle for P4 between Gal, between Mocho, between Yan. Of course, Mocho, who will not be driving in the top tier next season. But at this moment in time, there's Volker, who's going to be pitting in actually in a few laps' time, and Mocho actually is pitting this lap as well. So I think for Ferrari, Volker will get out of Willows' way, which I think he'll be pretty happy about. Although after what happened in Abu Dhabi, they probably definitely want to stay away from each other anyway. But anyhow, Mocho is going to be coming to the pits this lap. Yan is in the slipstream, but he needs to realise that Mocho is pitting, which he does. And Yan will go past as they come onto the front straight. Is he close enough to get to Gal? Not quite. But he could have a go at him onto the back straight possibly, although Gal takes a very unusual line into the corner there. But Yan could be in the slipstream, I think. Is he in it? Yes, so I think Yan could make the move now for P4. He's much quicker in a straight line than Gal is, and he's on the inside, Yan, and this is going to be a very easy overtake for P4, and yes, he does. He makes it, and by the way, Roke has passed Roland Moichin for 9th position now, so he's got ahead of the Hungarian, but now he's got Woolnella in front of him. But as we look at Volker, who is coming through the hairpin, he's got a fair gap in front of Willows, but I think it should be, as we look, and oh, Nella's got damage, and Woolnella has got damage, and I don't know what's happened to him. And was it who was it involving, or was it a mistake of his own making? And he went wide, so it was a mistake of his own making, and lost the wing. And oh dear me, and Will Neller, that is not good news for the championship. That is not good news at all. The wing just comes off as he goes over the curb there. That's great news for Jay McKenzie though. So Neller really isn't helping himself in this race as he comes out right in front of the Haas there of Roke, but Roke will obviously overtake him there, but Roke's been held up severely. But for Will Neller, that is not what he needed at all. Oh dear me. So that is going to be, well, it's going to be tough to take for Neller. He's really got to keep himself, he's just got to keep himself focused really, because it's slipping away. It looks like he's still at the moment going to win the championship. Well, as you know, he's not actually. What am I saying? Because at this moment in time, McKenzie would win the championship if, well, at this moment in time, if he wins, of course, with him leading, with the gap being 23 points. So only a win and no points for Neller would do. But at this moment in time, for Neller, he is running in last position. So this is not what Will Neller wanted at all. It's not gone at all to plan. And he's actually been lapped, embarrassingly, by McKenzie. So Neller's going to come out in 21st and in last position. And of course McKenzie is going to be leading this race, so Volker's going to be coming to the pit soon, so that will be a relief for Neller, so he won't have to worry about dealing with Volker as long as he does a good pace on his tyres. But at this moment in time, as I said, Jay McKenzie is going to win the title, and it looks possibly to be slipping away from Neller again, but we've still got 50 laps to go of this race, so anything can happen in those 50 laps. And here is Anderson on the back of Oliver Glazebrook, passing him for P10. Glazebrook moves to the left, trying to block him off, and he does so successfully, well, somewhat successfully, but he's not now because Anderson goes around the outside and takes him for 10th position. Now he'll go after Avrelomoichin in front of him, and then he'll try and go after Roke, who is a fair bit in front of him as well. So actually Anderson came up behind Roke in the stops, so Roke actually jumped Anderson in the stops there, despite Roke being held up a bit in traffic, but he got through anyway. So good work by the Haas crew, and so far Roke having a pretty good race, and of course he's actually next coming up to his teammate Hutter very soon. But as we're looking at Willers right now, as they're running on his own in P3, Volker is about 5 seconds ahead of him or so. But of course Willers will be coming into the pits for a second stop later than Volker, but Volker will be coming in before him, which is good of course with regards to the title fight. But particularly as long as they stay away from each other, the Ferrari drivers, I think it'll all be okay for them. As we're looking at Tomaselli coming through the hairpin at the moment in time, running in 14th position, running on his own behind Michael Moccio in the Toro Rosso. Evan Byrne, of course, not had a very particularly good race, as Anderson's on the inside of Moichin, his teammate for what is now 7th position, with Hutter in the pits. So that's good news for Anderson. He can then go after Roke in front of him. Byrne will be up to 11th, Moccio to 12th. And here's Jones, I think, trying to pass someone in front. Nell at the moment in time running in 21st and last. And Sontag and Jones battling for 17th position. And Sontag makes it through on the inside. So McKenzie will be coming out to some traffic in a few laps' time. Hutter comes out in 16th position. So he's behind Roberto Gamba. He comes out just ahead of Felix Sontag. He's going to try and make a move on the inside, but he fails. And there we go. So he fails to make the move there. McKenzie coming up to the back of the Manor of Zorbach, and you can see just in the background there Will Neller. And pit call, that is for Florian Volker. So Volker will now come into the pits, and that will officially, well, properly, I guess, release Willows. McKenzie will be going for a few more laps, but at the moment in time for McKenzie, it's looking pretty good for him. He's controlled this race so far. Well, I say he's controlled this race ever since Willows went in. He's controlled this race, and he's been on his own, so he's had no one really to threaten him at all. So here is Rick Yan on the back of Evan Byrne. This is for 11th position. Yan in the slipstream of the Renault driver. He's on the inside, and he's surely going to make the move stick into the Senna S's, and he does. 11th position, done and dusted. There we go. So Volker, the gap he was every lap he was just losing it to McKenzie. He's 15 seconds away. Willow's actually now only 1.9 behind, so he'll come up McKenzie in a comfortable third position, because Gall is way off. As we look through the blue flags, of course, being waved now. Hutter on the inside of Tomaselli, but failing to make a stick. He locks up a bit there as well, so he fails to make the move coming through into turn 4. But Rick Yan in 11th, there's Garen in 10th, Glazebrook in 9th at the moment, Gall in 4th position, Roke all over the back of Franco Lopez for 5th position. So Roke so far having a great race for Haas, as Volker is now in for his first stop of the race, and it looks like it's a very long stint, but of course he will be doing one more stop before the end, but it is a very long stint for Volker, so we'll see how that goes for him. So there we are, as we look at Volker coming out of the pits. He'll drop behind Anderson, so he's dropped behind Roke and Anderson, so he'll have to overtake them on track. So it looks like, I think Roke could be in possible contention for a podium here even, as we're looking at Nella, who is making the pass on the mighty Nicolas Zorbach for 20th position, and he makes it stick, and so he's now not last, Nella, but he just needs to do the best he can. But Mackenzie, his teammate, now comes into the pits, so Willers will of course retake the lead of this race, and the question is how Mackenzie going very long on this set of fuel, so it'll be interesting to see actually how much he does close up to Willers before he comes in. But of course Willers is on the 3 stopper, but so far Willers, his pace has been exceptional, but Mackenzie has had no real fight, but he hasn't had to do anything really. He's going to come out in a very comfortable second position with Volker into pit, as now Roke is now passing Nicolas Gal for 3rd position. This is a legitimate battle for 3rd, and Roke is going to make the move stick, is he? Yes. So George Roke up into a legitimate P3. Anderson is now closing up, and he's now going to try and get past Gal. So this is going to. So at the moment, Roke is running a legitimate 3rd position. Gal's dropped down to 4th, and Anderson will want to get past Gal very quickly because he wants to catch up to Roke, having been jumped by him in the stops. Now behind, of course, is Volker, who's trying to get past all these guys. So it's a fascinating race at this moment in time, but a huge battle for the podium, it seems, as Jan just went past Glazebrook for 10th there, and of course Nella is now up into 18th position. He's slowly but surely coming back through the order, but of course at this moment in time he is winning the title, so it doesn't matter, as Hutter trying to get past Thomas. He's been stuck behind him for quite a few laps, and as we look at Nella coming through in 18th, Mackenzie in 2nd. I'd like to see actually how much he closes to Willers. What's the gap? 11 seconds. It's 14 seconds to Roke, obviously, but Roke is definitely not going to be in contention for the win, that's for sure. But Gal at the moment is going to be holding up Anderson, but Anderson's surely going to get past, and look at him, he's already right behind as Volker trying to get past Lopez in the Force India, and Anderson on the inside of Gal. He's going to overtake him, and he will take the position of P4, and now he'll go after Roke in front of him, so we could see a really good battle for P3 brewing here, and this is a legitimate battle. So Roke at the moment is in the running for a podium, but it looks like Anderson is very quick in that car, as Hutter still not doing as well as his teammate, trying to get past the Salvo Tomaselli. He finally might do it here, coming on to the front straight, and Hutter on the inside, and there we go. He makes the move up into 15th position. So Roke at the moment running into P3. Anderson, look at that, he's already less than a second off, so he is right behind the Haas of Roke, as now here is Roberto Gamba trying to pass Tomaselli for 16th position. He tries to make it on the inside but fails. Tomaselli closes the door on him, as we look at Volker, who has got past Lopez, as we know, for 6th position. Roberto Gamba not going to be able to make the move here, as we look at Mackenzie now coming through the CNRSs, and let's see how he will close up to Joseph Willis. Here's the battle for 3rd. Here is Anderson on the inside of Roke, heading into turn 1, and Anderson, look at that, he already passes Roke even before the first corner, so great move there by Julius Anderson. He really is quick in the Williams, but I wonder if Roke will try and get back at him here, because he's still in the slipstream, and Roke might try and overtake him back. Here we go, and in the slipstream is Roke. He's going to try and move to the inside. Anderson really blocks him off there, not letting him get back through, so Anderson keeps 3rd position there from Roke. A great battle there. Now Volker is going to try and get past Gal, and then he'll go after Roke and Anderson in front of him as they head towards the middle sector of the lap. And so Volker not going to be able to make the move here, so they'll have to wait until the front straight, as now here's Nella, who's trying to make a move on Tomaselli in the Sauber for 15th position, and Nella is going to try and make the move on the Sauber, who doesn't really put up much of defence for good reason. He's on the inside, is Nella, and he moves up into 15th. Tomaselli goes very wide there. That's going to allow Roberto Gamba to get through, although he's pitting as well. Now here is Jan on the back of Roland Moichin, who is pitting, so he will go past him there, so there we go. Roland Moichin in the pits, and Burnham move up. There's Hutter, who's behind the other Sauber now. And now here is Will Nella, who's onto this pack of cars, and needs to get past them very cleanly, as here we are looking on the front straight, as Nella is looking at Hutter, trying to get past Sontag. He's not going to make it stick, is he? Well, he might do, And the answer is, does he? Yes, no, no he doesn't, although Sontag goes extremely wide, so he'll lose the position, and now Nella is going to be right behind Sontag, and he'll surely get through pretty quickly as well, although Sontag got a very good run off that corner, I might add. But Sontag to try and make it back on the inside of Hutter, and he might do so actually. Sontag going to try and make it back on Hutter, and he does. So Hutter not having any luck with the salvos at this moment in time, but Nella is right there as well. He wants to get through as Joseph Willers is in the pits for the second time. And of course that will relinquish the lead to Mackenzie as Tyrrell was past there into the first corner, but Willows comes out. I couldn't see how quick that stop was, but he's going to come out I think in second position as long as Anderson doesn't go through him. But at the moment Anderson extending his gap to Roke behind, so I think Willows, this could be quite close actually. And there is actually Willows. You can just see him coming out of the pits there, so crucially for Willows he does come out ahead of Anderson in second position, so that is good news for him. He comes out in clear air. And as we're looking at Volker now, all over the back of Roke, this is for fourth position, and he's on the inside Volker. He fails to make it stick. Can't quite make it stick past Roke there. Roke doing his very best against cars that are clearly much better than his. Now here is Hutter and Sontag battling once again, and Hutter gets back past Sontag. And now will Nella go around the outside? He tries but fails. Nella really struggling to overtake here. Not good news for him. Of course he'll be pitting before the end as well. He was going to be on a one stop, but it's now going to be the two stop thanks to the error he made. But at this moment in time he comes through. He's all over the back of Sontag. He can't make it through at the moment, and not good news of course with Mackenzie leading this race, but of course he'll be pitting once more I think before the end. Willers will be pitting as well, so we'll see. So at the moment in time Willers really needs to close the gap to Mackenzie, because Mackenzie is not pitting for at least another probably nearish 20 laps at this moment in time, as here is Volker and Roke battling. Roke moving to the inside to not let Volker get through. He's really trying his best, Roke, against cars that are much better than his, and Volker is all in the slipstream, so surely he might make the move into turn 4. He's in the slipstream, and this could be the move very quickly done for Volker. He's on the inside of Roke, side by side between the two. Roke can't really put up much of a defence, and Volker still can't make it through though, so he's still stuck behind Roke, and he needs to get past him quickly if he wants to get to Anderson in front of him. The gap is slowly going up as here's Hutter really trying to get past Byrne into the first corner, and I think he's made it stick, has he? Yes, he does make it up into 10th position, and Nella has finally passed Sontag for 12th. So as we saw the Toro Rosso coming out of the pits there, that was Michael Mocho who's come up behind, so that's good news for Nella. He moves up yet another position as they come through the last bit of the track, or the first bit of the track I should say, end of the first sector now into the middle sector, i.e. the place where you can't overtake on this circuit. But the thing is, for Mocho, he's going to be much quicker than Nella, so if he gets past Sontag he'll be right on the back of him. So I think Nella needs to get this next move done very quickly, because Mocho will be very quick on those fresh tyres. He's stuck behind Sontag here. He's not going to be able to make the move stick through here. Nella on the back of Evan Byrne, the Irishman in the Renault, as he comes through the final couple of corners. And he's now going to surely make the move on Byrne into the first corner, as long as he's in the slipstream, and of course Mocho will probably make the move on Sontag behind into the first corner as well. Here's Nella on the back of Evan Byrne. I think he's close enough. He's in the slipstream, so surely he's going to make the move into the first corner. He's in the slipstream. Look at the speed he's getting off the car. He's going to go for it surely, and Byrne does move over, but Nella's on the inside, and is he going to make it stick? The answer is, I think he is. He'll go around the outside, and yes, he'll finally make the move past Evan Byrne up into 11th position. I didn't see if Mocho actually had overtaken Tomaselli, and the answer is yes, he has. He's already on the back of Byrne. Look at that. Already on the back of Byrne, having passed Sontag there, but he fails to make a sticker. That's good news for Nella. That means Mocho stays away from him as we look at Willows. So the thing is, obviously, Willows will need to close the gap to Mackenzie, who's pitting in a few laps' time, and actually Willows will be pitting before, so Willows is going to be trying to do technically the undercut, I guess, on Mackenzie. Zorbach and Roberto Gamma battling for 19th position, and he doesn't make a stick there. So Anderson running in third. A great race so far for him, but of course he'll have Volker trying to get back past. Well, as long as he gets past Roke, that is, because Roke can't keep up with him. Volker's clearly quicker than Roke, but he can't overtake him. Nella only one place off the points at this moment in time, as Breaker Gamma is going to be coming to the pit. So it looks like Nella will move up into the points. That is. Here we are looking at Michael Mocho, who's all over the back of the Renault of Evan Byrne as they're coming down the front straight, and he's going to surely make a move. Mocho on the inside of Byrne. Byrne tries to move over and fails to stop the move being done, although Mocho was going to get past anyway. So good move there by Michael Mocho, but Byrne might try and get back past, possibly if he's got the slipstream, which I think he's just slightly too fast, so that isn't going to happen. But Frankie Gamber obviously is going to be pitting this lap, and as I said, Volker still hasn't got past Roke, so fair play to Roke. He's doing, oh no, he has got past him now actually, so Volker has passed Roke, as here we are looking at Mackenzie on his own in the lead. The gap is coming down though, down to 16.6 seconds, was about 18 after Willows came into the pits, or came out of the pits I should say. So it is coming down for sure, so we'll see how quickly Willows does close the gap and how much it will be when they both make their final stop. So it looks like a battle between Willows and Mackenzie for the win today, and also for the championship as well. Mackenzie just desperately needs to win, and that was Byrne of course making a mistake there, but managing to keep it on the road and keep his position. So what is the gap now as Frankie Gamber is in the pits? What is the gap to Mackenzie? I mean, the gap, he's got a comfortable gap to Anderson in third. Needn't worry about him. Now here is Glazebrook passing Byrne, who's being overtaken seemingly by everybody, including Oliver Glazebrook, and that's someone that really you don't want to be overtaken by, as Glazebrook moves up past Byrne. Now Nella is on the back of Joel Hutter in the Haas. This is the battle for 9th position, and Nella's going to try and go for it, but fails, as Hutter defends into the corner there, so he fails to make the move stick. Now as you look at Nella, he's going to be stuck behind Hutter for this whole second sector, so he's going to have to bide his time, wait until the front straight and then make his move. But of course the problem is he's got Mocho closing up behind him on much fresher tyres, and here he is, as Hutter seems to be really struggling on his tyres as well. And so here we go, so Nella is under pressure here. He needs to get past Hutter very quickly, as Roke is now into the pits for his second stop. This of course won't be his last stop of the race. Now Nella is coming round, he's got Mocho all over his back, and of course he's all over the back of Hutter, and I'm not sure if he's quite close enough to be in Hutter's slipstream. Is he? I'm not sure. I don't think he's quite close enough, although Mocho is just about in Nella's slipstream. It's touch and go. I think Nella might be close enough to actually to be in the slipstream of Hutter. I think that's what's keeping him ahead. They're coming on the front straight, although Mocho is still in Nella's slipstream, heading towards the first corner, but Mocho is not close enough because Nella had Hutter in front of him, helping him along. And Roke, I think, crucially is going to come out ahead of these guys, which is important for him. Because obviously these guys are in a big battle, so Roke, I think you could just see coming into the pit, or coming out of the pits ahead, and now Nella's on the inside of Hutter for 9th position. Has he got it done? The answer is yes, he has. He moves up into 9th position, so that's good news for him. So at this moment in time, the title, of course, will be going to Will Nella, as Hutter now going to be under pressure from Michael Mocho, who you would have thought would have got through Nella, and well, now he needs to get through Hutter first, and then he'll get through Will Nella afterwards. And now here is Mocho, who's all over the back of Will Nella. So we'll see, is he close enough into the final corner? He's surely going to get the slipstream, because look at just look at how much he gains into that final corner. So surely he's going to make the move past Will Nella. Nella just needs to let him through, really, as long as he has no issues at all as they come onto the front straight. Is he in the slipstream? I think he is just about, as Galler's coming out of the pits as well, so I think they'll move up a couple of positions, Will, Nella and Mocho, as they come into the first corner, and Mocho all over the back, although I think Gal will come out just in front actually of these two. Mocho all over the back of Nella in his slipstream. Surely he'll make the move into turn 4. Nella really defends. He's not letting Mocho get through him without a fight, and so Mocho fails to get through yet again. So I think I saw Byrne was into the pits, Tomaselli is into the pits as well. So it's all happening here. We've still got just over 30 laps to go, and at this moment in time the title, it's so close. At the moment it's going everything is going Mackenzie's way at this moment in time, and oh my word, there's a massive crash. Volker is out on the front straight. There's a huge accident and his car is completely destroyed, and Volker is out of this race, and he was running on the podium, and there's debris out on the circuit as well. There's another crash. There's a car that's gone off into the debris. That is Rick Yan, who is out as well. And there's another car, that's Roke, who's coming onto the pits. This is not good. And Roke's in the debris, he's out as well. Roke is out of this race, but a huge accident. And oh my word, so Yan is out, Roke is out, Volker is out, and there's more debris there. And it gets hit as they go through, the Mercedes goes through, and oh my word, what on earth has happened? There's been a huge accident on the straight, as one of the Haas is being overtaken by the McLaren there. Well, there's several cars being overtaken by everyone, so what on earth happened? So Anderson, Etienne Jones had a problem. Anderson tried to cut in front of him and made contact, and then Anderson lost his front wing, and then did he come out ahead of Volker, or did he still go in? I think he still went in. So, and then the wing was what caused Volker to crash out and hit the wall. So then, oh my word, that was almost like Mark Webber, Fernando Alonso, Brazil 2003, except in dry. But there was the wing. It just came right in front of Volker's path, and he hit the wall spectacularly, coming onto the front straight there. That was an almighty crash. And wow, this is good news though for Will Nella, of course. And you can see there was the wing, just bounced off the wall right into the path of Volker, going at probably nearly 200 miles an hour. Just the wrong place at the wrong time. But as I said, the good news is for Anderson, he still did make it into the pits, but for Volker, he is out, Jan is out, and Roke is out. They were all having, well, certainly Roke was having a great race, and unfortunately it is ended right there. Oh my word. I said that was an unbelievable crash. But there we go. So Volker is out, I said Jan is out, and Roke is out, but that was a terrible crash. So there was Jan who lost his wing there, and then hit the other, hit almost the back end of Volker's car. That's what caused him to retire. Of course, he's trying to steer the wheel, but of course, like Sebastian Buemi in China, you ain't going to be able to steer the car with no wheels. So this was Mocho, who was passing Nella on the front straight, and I think he backed off, actually, and didn't overtake him. Glazebrook, I think, did, and oh my word, there was Jan's car, and he did overtake him. So I wonder, will Glazebrook get away with that? The yellow flag was out there. He hadn't overtaken Hutter, but then the yellow flag had gone. So I think Glazebrook might just about get away with that, passing Hutter on the straight there. I did notice that in real time, but I think he might get away with it. So whew, we'll see actually what race control have to say about that. But here's Mocho and Nella. They've been battling for quite a while now, and as they come through turn 4, Disney Largo now coming through the next left hand, and now into the middle sector of the lap. And Mocho, of course, and Nella have been battling for quite a while now. But as there we are looking at Zorbach being overtaken by Sontag in the Sauber there. So what's the gap? It's down to 10 seconds. So Willis is closing the gap, but it's still pretty big at this moment in time. And I think Mackenzie's pitting in about probably 10 laps or so, I would say. Willis, the gap is coming down, but I don't think it's coming down quite as much as Willis would like. Well, he certainly would like it a lot more, I think. That's for sure. But Nella, once again, still battling with Mocho. They've been battling for ages now. Mocho failing to be able to get past the Mercedes of Nella. At this moment in time, Nella is going to win the title because he's in a comfortable position. But now here's Mocho. This is it. Finally, is he going to make the move on the inside of Nella into the first corner? And the answer is yes, he does. So he finally does pass Nella into the first corner. So Nella down into 7th position, but he needn't worry because he's in a good position to win the title at this moment in time. But as I said, Mackenzie doing all he can up front. The gap coming down now, it's under 10 seconds. Now only 9.5 seconds from him to Willows. And Glazebrook now being overtaken by Franco Gamba for 9th position. Mackenzie now coming out to traffic. So this is going to be interesting because, of course, Mackenzie will be held up in traffic. And Willows will be pitting before Willows does. So as we look at Anderson coming around in P3. So what's the gap now? We're looking at Willows. What is the gap? He's coming up to the McLaren, I believe that is of Glazebrook. So Anderson way behind in 3rd position, so he's no threat to Willows. I just really want to see the gap. So here we are looking at Felix Sontag under pressure. Well, I say under pressure. Roberto Gamma being overtaken by Sontag, and he's up into 12th place. So 18 cars still left in this race. Anderson still on for a legit podium right now in P3, despite that little skirmish with Jones. Franco Lopez in P4. Gap about 7 seconds, so the gap Mackenzie was, it's come down a fair bit now. It's now down to 6 seconds, but of course Mackenzie is now coming to traffic, so he's now just past the Toro Rosso there, and it's still 6.1, so it is coming down, of course, with them coming up into traffic. So this is going to be the interesting thing, how quickly do they get through the traffic. Willows now coming up to the Williams, I think that is of Roland Moyton ahead, and Gamba is actually trying to unlap himself here past the Mercedes. That's not what Mackenzie wants. Mackenzie goes wide, so that's going to give a good chance for Willows to catch up there. Frankie Gamba really helping Willows here, and there's a car with a puncher out on track, and I couldn't see who that was. Who was that? I think that was Will Nella, was it? I'm pretty sure that was Will Nella who had a puncher, and Joel Hutter is in the pits as well, and he has a problem too. Or unless that was Hutter that had the puncher. I think that could have been him actually. I swear it said Will Nella. But Hutter is in the pits anyway, so I think it was him who had the puncher. Yeah, it was. I really thought it was Will Nella, and I was like, oh, I was like, no way has that just happened. But no, Hutter did have a puncher, so he came into the pits there. So there we go. Fortunately, the pits, it was just almost planned. That was. It was just as he was coming through, about to come through the pit lane line, did the problem occur. So yeah, tactical or genius, who knows? But had to come through the pits. He's not had a brilliant race. Now Will Neller comes in for his final stop of the race on lap 50. So of course he will go to the end. He still had actually a fair bit of fuel left, but I guess the tyres were pretty dead. So he changes all 4 tyres, and of course he will go to the end of this race. So he'll drop outside of the top 10, but of course he will be on much fresher tyres than everyone else around him at this point. So it was a pretty slow stop though, actually, only 7.6 seconds. So he drops down behind Felix Sontag, Roberto Gamba. He drops down to 12th position. I think that is where he'll be as he comes out of the pit exit. The probably I'd say the most unique pit exit, but of course that is Abu Dhabi, which goes under the track, but it's probably one of the longest pit exits. But Unella comes out in 12th position, but of course all the drivers around him will be pitting once more. So at this moment in time, it's still going Mackenzie's way. The gap actually, however, is down to just 3 seconds now, so it's getting very tense up front as well here. But here we are looking at, this is Franco Gamba all over the back of Roland Moitjen. This is the battle for 7th position, but of course they've got Willers behind who will want to lap these guys very quickly. And so Gamba is just about in the slipstream of Moitjen. Is he maybe a little bit too far behind? Anderson is running on his own in P3, and whoa, the now Tonen there went on the grass a little bit there, coming through, heading towards the right-hander there. That wasn't very interesting. He nearly could have spun himself off. But if you see coming through, he touched the grass. Yeah, he does touch the grass there, and actually, surprisingly, he doesn't actually spin off. I thought he might lose control there, nearly hitting the Santander boardings there. Fortunately, he doesn't, and he keeps on going. Now here is Willers. He's lapping the Toro Rosso of Gamba, and Roland Moitjen going into the pits there at breakneck speed. But Willers does get past both, and now, actually, here we go. He now pits, and he's pitting a lot earlier than Mackenzie, so he is obviously going for the undercut, is Willers. So this is going to be very interesting indeed. But the gap coming down to 3 seconds. So I was saying about how Willers wasn't closing it down enough. At this moment in time, he's looking in a pretty favourable position at this moment in time, I would say. That depends actually if he comes out in traffic though, in lap traffic. He'll still come out in second, but there's going to be a lot of lap traffic he'll probably come out with. But at this moment in time, Nella moving up now into 9th. So at this moment in time, Nella will still be winning the title, I believe. As we look at Willows coming through, about to head into the pits. Mackenzie, the gap about 3.5 seconds. Willows will be coming in, so we'll see how this works out for Joseph Willows. If he can do the undercut on Jay Mackenzie, we shall see as he comes around heading towards the final corner. But it's been a very, very entertaining race. There's a reason why the drivers voted to put Brazil as the finale instead of Abu Dhabi, because this is probably one of the best circuits on the calendar. It's really old school. There's always action. There's plenty of places to overtake. There's always action here. So here we go as we look at Willows now coming into the pits for his final stop of the race. He's going to try the undercut on Jay Mackenzie, who himself is going to go longer. So we could see a good battle between those two towards the end of the race. Willows pitting for new tyres. We're going to the end, and there we go, 6.9 second stop. There's another car coming into the pits as well on the same lap too, and it's Roberto Gamba for McLaren who's coming in. So Willows comes out, he'll come up behind the Sauber there. I think that was Tomaselli, so I'll have to pass him on circuit, but he'll get through him pretty quickly, although there's actually Joel Hutter who's trying to pass Tomaselli as he's on the inside is Hutter, and he's going to make the move for 10th position. He's on the inside, and yep, he does make the move stick. There we go, and he goes wide, and that's going to allow Willows to lap him pretty quickly, as Tomaselli is going to move to one side. Willows going to go through, is he? No. And Willows is going to do the long way round, although Tomaselli is not. Oh my word, that was sketchy, but he does eventually make it through Willows. That was very, very sketchy indeed. It actually gets overtaken by Roland Moitjen, does Tomaselli, having gone extremely wide. So good work there by Roland Moitjen sneaking through there. As we're looking at Byrne in 13th position. Anderson under pressure from Sontag, who nearly makes contact with him there. I think Anderson must be struggling on his tyres, I think, as he comes through, heading towards the last sector of the lap. Now here is Willows at this moment in 2nd position, although he's struggling, it seems, I think, to get temperature into his tyres, and he's all over the place at this moment in time. He's got Roland Moitjen behind, who of course just passed Tomaselli, and Willow's moving all over the circuit, really trying to get those tyres worked. So at this moment in time, that's good news for Mackenzie up front, if Willow's is struggling on this 3-stopper, as Moichin trying to get past Willow's here, but he doesn't know what Willow's is doing. So is he going to try and overtake him, Moichin? I'm not sure. Is he? No. Not quite. He's going to have to stay behind him at this moment in time. But Moichin, that's not good news for him, because it means he can't catch up to Hutter in front of him. Now here is Sontag yet again trying to unlap himself past Anderson, which he does this time. So that's good news for Lopez and for Gal behind him as well. And at the moment, Moichin trying to overtake Willers, who is really struggling on these tyres at this moment in time. That's not good news for him, and it's great news for Mackenzie up front. And Willers goes extremely wide, and Moichin is going to get through there. So Moichin goes past Willows. So he's probably just letting him through there, but not good news for Willows. I thought he would do well on these tyres, but he's really struggling, and Moichin's through, and now he'll go after Hutter. The gap now up to 31 seconds, so that is great news for Mackenzie. So he's going to come out comfortably ahead of Willows after the stops, it seems, after the final stop. Now here is Nella on the back of Glazebrook, trying to make the move for 7th position, so he can be in a more secure position to win the title at this moment in time. So at the moment he will be winning the title, despite Jay winning this race. And Glazebrook is not letting him go through very easily. Because Glazebrook, who won't have a seat for next season in the top tier, not had the best of seasons for McLaren, but Willows, Nella, all over the back of the British driver. The two Brits battling each other, and Glazebrook trying to defend from Nella, but surely it's going to be all for naught. And all over the back of him is Will Nella. And as we look at them coming through the final corner, as we saw the Toro Rosso there, I think that was a Franco Gamba that was in the pits. As we look at Gal in 5th, and no, it's actually Michael Mocho, sorry, that was in the pits. So that he'll drop another position, so he'll drop behind Nella. Now Nella does go past Glazebrook on the front straight, so crucially Nella makes a big move, and of course Glazebrook will be pitting, has to pit again, so Nella, that was a very good move, so he can get away from Glazebrook, and I don't think Glazebrook will close up towards the back end of the race. But at this moment in time, Nella is in a very secure P6, and that will be enough for him to win the title as things stand. Now Julius Anderson is in the pit. I think he had one more stop anyway, actually, to go. Now here is Roberto Gamba all over the back of Byrne for 14th, and he's going to make it through. So unfortunately for Byrne, it's been a pretty torrid race for him. And here's Willows, who again is still struggling on those tyres really badly. But now Mackenzie is going to be pitting, and the gap's up to 33 seconds. So Mackenzie is going to come out comfortably ahead of Willows after his stop. So unfortunately for Willows, the 3-stop, it looked to be pretty good, but it's not turned out very well for it. Well, isn't it? Well, I say it hasn't turned out very well. It's because he struggled after his final stop. That's the only reason why. But of course, I've just realised with Mocho having just pitted, he's 6 seconds off of Nella, and he's surely going to catch up to Nella, because Nella pitted probably about over 10 laps before. So Mocho Nella could be another battle towards the end of the race that could get very, very interesting indeed. But as I said, Mackenzie coming into the pits this lap, and we look at Willows, who has been passed now by Franco Gamba. He is all over the place in that car. And of course Mackenzie, when he pits, he'll come out comfortably in the lead. So unfortunately the undercut for Willows has not worked for him, which is very unfortunate. It's 35 seconds the gap, it's that big now. But Lopez right now running in P3, but of course Anderson has pitted already, so he will take P3 back once the drivers in front of him, Gal and Lopez, have pitted. But Mackenzie now comes into the pits for his final stop of the race, and he will come out in the lead. Of course, Mackenzie has done everything he can in this race. I mean, he can't do any more than what he's doing. I mean, he's winning the race. He's going to come out in the lead, and so yeah, it's looking to be pretty good for Mackenzie. But unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. I mean, no one did expect that he'd be in this title fight, considering how rubbish his first half of the season was. But he's recovered. Fair play to him. And at this moment in time, it looks like he is going to finish just behind. Well, unfortunately, he's going to come out just short. But Willows is only just coming onto the front straight now. So, of course, there's Mackenzie coming out of the pits. And he is in the lead of this race. And he, I imagine, will keep that until the end. Now, here is Franco Gamba, who is closing up to the back of Roland Moichin in the Williams, just in front, as they head towards the first corner. Moichin defending there from him. And Mackenzie, and wait, Mackenzie has to pit. Has Mackenzie got damage? And Mackenzie might have damage here. Hold on a second. If that's the case, then Will Nella has effectively won the title here. So what has happened to Mackenzie coming through the first corner. He's got the Manor in front of him, and incredible! He's run into the back of him. He has run into the back of the Manor, and Jay McKenzie, who has had to take a comfortable victory, is going to have to pit for a new wing, and that surely is going to gift Willows the victory. And that has just eliminated any slim chance McKenzie had of the title. His has gone right there because of the Manor. And I mean, it's hard to say who was at fault there, but McKenzie was coming up to the back of the Manor of Jones, and I mean, Jones maybe just went a little bit slow through the corner, slower than McKenzie expected, but there we go. Jay McKenzie is coming into the pits, and that has surely ended the title right there. And Willows has taken the lead, and there's no way McKenzie is going to gain that gap in 8 laps, or less than 8 laps. But quite incredible here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. What an ending to this race. So I bet Will Nella can't believe his luck. He's had a terrible race, Nella. Nothing has gone his way. He was on a terrible strategy. He went off by himself and lost his wing. And yeah, he's slowly but surely recovered through the field. He's done well to recover, to be honest. But as I said, it's just, oh, it's terrible luck for Jay McKenzie. He actually even drops 3rd behind Lopez as well. And does Lopez have to pit again? I'm not sure, actually. If he doesn't, then McKenzie will have to pass Lopez on track. So, as I said, this doesn't matter. And no, Lopez actually doesn't have to pit again. So, he is going to be he's in legit second, is Franco Lopez. A good final result for Sydney before he goes to Mercedes. McKenzie does come out in 3rd position, so he'll surely go after Lopez and get second, because it'll be quite clearly quicker. Willows once again struggling on those tyres, but he doesn't need to worry about that now, because of course McKenzie is way off, and there's no way he's going to gain the gap in what we got. Well, it's now going to be 7 laps to go. So Willows has this victory. I say he has this victory in the bag, but who knows? But look at this, Lopez already being caught by Jay McKenzie here, and so they head towards the final corner. And I think Anderson was behind there in 4th, and I don't know if he'll close up to these guys or not. But as they come on to the front straight, as McKenzie just about in the slipstream of Lopez, so surely he'll make the move on the inside. And we're looking at Anderson, and Anderson's got a problem. No, Julius Anderson has got an issue, and any chance of a podium for Julius Anderson in his final race unfortunately has gone. Absolutely gutsy for Julius Anderson, unfortunately for Lopez as well. He has caught Evan Byrne at precisely the wrong time, coming through the corner there, and now Lopez goes past, and so does McKenzie, but McKenzie can't quite make the move on Lopez here unless he does a late dive bomb, but he can't make the move stick there. And unfortunately for Julius Anderson, I feel gutted for him. He deserved a podium on his last race. I mean, people are still quite stunned as to how he hasn't got a drive next season, and so am I, to be honest. But anyway, Anderson comes out in, I think that's 7th position. He actually comes out behind Michael Mocho and Will Nella, so that's great news for Will Nella once again. So the title's almost pretty much secured. Now McKenzie, who still hasn't got past Lopez, he's now trying to make a move on the inside. Has he got it done here? I'm not sure. He's a bit far back, and the answer is no, he hasn't. He still hasn't got it done. And now here is Mocho going around the outside of Nella, and actually I was wondering if that battle would ensue, and I'm surprised Mocho hadn't got past already, to be honest, but he has got past, but Nella needn't worry, because McKenzie is not in a position to win the title, although Nella's trying to get it back past Mocho, but he fails. So, but he doesn't need to worry. He really doesn't need to do anything. There's only 5 laps left. So now here's Glazebrook battling with Joel Hudson. Glazebrook might get some points in his last race for McLaren, as he's on the inside, and he does pass Hudson for 8th position. So it's been a good performance actually by Glazebrook. Kind of gone under the radar, I'd say. Now here is Franco Gamba all over the back of Hudson as well. This is the battle for 9th position. Jones is in the pits for the final time for Manor. Franco Gamba on the inside of Hutter, and there's a car that went way wide at the final corner, the first corner there. Sorry. Jones now in the pits for his final stop of the race, and Hutter has now been overtaken. Gamba has made it stick for P9, so a good move there by the Toro Rosso driver. And as we look at Willows currently in the moment in the lead, Nella on his own in 6th position. Mocho's getting away, but he just needs to get his car to the end of this race. But also, and McKenzie actually has finally passed Lopez for P2, as we look in the slipstream of Lopez, and McKenzie on the inside, and he does make it through up into P2. I thought Lopez was going to hold it, but he's on fresh tyres, McKenzie, so he was always going to get through nonetheless. So we're now on to the final lap of this race, and I have to say this has been quite an incredible Brazilian Grand Prix. It has thrown everything that you could imagine at it. And McKenzie, unfortunately, you do kind of feel sorry for him as well. He'd done everything he could to win the title. He was winning this race. It looked like he'd had the edge over Willis, with Willis having his issues after his pit stop, but unfortunately for Mackenzie, the words Etienne Jones will come to mind, and he will need to get well, and he will not want to hear those words ever again after what happened. But Joseph Willis is inherited. It was a great strategy for him, to be honest, and had he had not that problem after his final stop, he would have probably won this race anyway. But, well, I say he has won this race now, but probably without that he could have still had a great battle with Mackenzie. But Joseph Willis is going to come round the final corner for the 71st and final time, and he is going to win the Brazilian Grand Prix. A great performance from Willows, and he is across the line, and Mackenzie will come across the line in second position, as Lopez going to come across the line in third as the cars come through. As Nella has been passed by Anderson. Let's not forget, Anderson has got a 5-second time penalty, so we needn't worry about that. But as Willows has come across the line, there is the confirmation. Will Nella is the 2017 GP4 Offline Champion. Fantastic way, and it's not been easy for him, that is for sure. It really hasn't been easy, but he has done it, and I'm so happy for him. At last, he has had the luck needed. He's come close on so many occasions, and finally, he has done it. I'm honestly so happy for him, and in his final race as well. That is, I mean, that's just the way the title just needs to go, doesn't it? Just in all the circumstances that we had, Winella now comes across the line. It will be sixth position, and he is the champion. Oh, I'm honestly, yeah, it's just so great. It is so great. Now, come across the line, I said in seventh, but it will be sixth because Anderson has a penalty. But there we go, and Mercedes, of course, being the constructors champions as well. Whew. That was some race, but here is the final race results here in Brazil. Joseph Willis winning ahead of Jay Mackenzie in second, Franco Lopez third, Miguel Scow in fourth, Michael Mocho fifth, Winella moving ahead of Anderson due to his penalty into sixth, with Oliver Gosbrick in eighth, Franco Gambit ninth, and Joel Hunter completing the points in 10th. Roland Wilson just missing out in 11th position. Jay Mackenzie actually setting the fastest lap of the race, a 1:08.3. The rest of the order being as follows: Roberto Gamba 12th, Felix Sonntag 13th, Paulino Thomasy 14th, Evan Byrne 15th, Nicholas Zorbach 16th, Terry now turned 17th, and Etienne Jones 18th, with Roke, Jan, Volker and Carl, the drivers who did not finish this race. So now we'll take a look at the final driver standings and the constructor standings after what has been an enthralling season here. And here it is, there it is, Will Nella, the champion, by 11 points ahead of Willis, who moved ahead of Mackenzie thanks to that win by 2 points. Florian Volkovic in 4th, Amakar 5th, Nicholas Gal 6th, Anderson, Lopez, Jan and Moitin completing the top 10. Michael Mocha moving up to 11th position with that top 5 finish, so that was a good result and a good way to end his OC season. Evan Byrne 12th, Frankie Gam moving up into 13th position, Joel Hunter 14th, Roberto Gam 15th, Glaze moving up to 16th, now Tiranen, Roke, Tomaselli, Jones, Sontag, Nicholas Pascali, and in last position, 23rd, is Nicholas Zorbach. So, fortunately for Zorbach, he did finish his race as well as Zorbach's, but unfortunately it was a pretty torrid amount of races he had filling in for the late Nicholas Pascali, but he'll be back soon, I'm sure. But here are the final constructor standings. Mercedes also winning that as well by 35 points. So there we go. Ahead of Ferrari in second, Red Bull in third, Force India fourth, Williams fifth, Toro Rosso sixth, Renault in seventh, Haas in eighth, McLaren ninth, Sauber in 10th, and Manor in 11th position. So there we are. That has been the 2017 OC season. All the winners again on the screen right now. Thanks very much for watching GP4. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Forget, as you vote for your driver of the day, give the race 10. Thank you for watching GP4. It's been a thrilling season. Thanks to Joe for doing the highlights. Thanks to Yuri for hosting. Thanks to Flo, Rob, Nico, Rahul, and everyone who's helped the OC this season. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I've been George Roke, and I'm signing off for this season. Goodbye.
Living in the fast lane, trying to catch up in my own game, but the world is moving fast. I know that at the end of the day, when the ceiling keeps my night away, I made it all matter less. Oh, give me stress, give me pressure, make me cry. faster. Beat me till I'm first. Beat me and make me work. I'll show you what I am worth. So beat me and make me first. I know that till the end of time I will never meet the finish line, but I'll come home at last.